Good morning, beautiful people. This is Christina. I'm in the Seed Yoga Test Kitchen today. We're cooking up some snacks with some veggies that we found this morning. We have an abundance of kale in the fridge, so I'm using my favorite for this recipe, Dino Kale. I like it because it has all these little grooves and crevices that you can get your seasonings for your chips in. So for the seasoning, what I like to use is liquid aminos. I do about a half a cup of liquid aminos for a tablespoon of sriracha sauce. Chili sauce is nice and flavorful with a little bit of heat. As always, you can feel free to adjust the heat, especially. Basically, I want the consistency to be a little tiny bit thicker than water, like a barbecue sauce, or maybe a runny barbecue sauce. And so that's where I'm gonna stop for the first chips. And those are gonna have the nutritional yeast. So all I do is I wash my kale and then dry it. It doesn't have to be completely dry. It can have a little bit of liquid on it. That's okay, a little bit of water. But as dry as possible. And then I'm just gonna dip it into that liquid I made out of the sriracha and the liquid aminos. If you don't have liquid aminos, you can use soy sauce. It's a salty substitute. So I'll dip those into the sauce, and I'm dipping the top of the leaf because that's where the nice little crevices and grooves are. And then I'm laying it on my drying tray. Then after dipping a few of those, I'll just go ahead and sprinkle on the nutritional yeast. As thick as you would like. Try not to make it too thick. You know, we want them to dry eventually and for it not to cake on too much. So I'd say roughly about a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, a couple little shakes of the nutritional yeast. It's not an exact science. Whatever you like and looks good. Then to that mixture of the liquid aminos and the sriracha, I'm gonna add a little bit of honey for my barbecue flavor. So just a squeeze of honey, and then we're gonna stir it up with a fork. Just to kind of get the honey incorporated. Now this will get a little bit thicker, and then I can keep stirring it a little bit more with my leaves as I'm dipping. So I'll take the leaf, dipping the top, and then for the barbecue seasoning, I used a smoked salt, smoked cayenne, smoked paprika, onion powder, and garlic powder. And I use a little less of the salt because the liquid aminos has a salty profile to it, so I didn't want to overdo it with the saltiness. So once I have a few chips dipped in the liquid with the honey addition, then I'm going to go to my spice melange that I made at the barbecue. It's kind of like an allspice flavor. I'll just sprinkle on a little bit. Again, I'd say, not really a measure on this, but I would say that's roughly a quarter to a half a teaspoon that's going on each chip, depending on the size of the leaf. Again, it's not an exact science. You decide what works best for you. And voila, that's it. I'm gonna take mine and I'm gonna put mine into a food dehydrator at 125 degrees Fahrenheit for 6 hours or more. Just depends on the humidity in your environment and the kale, what type of kale you use and how much liquid you got on each leaf. So you'll have to check that after about 6 hours in the dehydrator. If you don't have a food dehydrator, don't worry. You can use the oven. The results are a little less consistent in the oven, and you'll have to check on the kale a little more often. But the oven, I would use the lowest setting. I think mine only goes as low as 200. So whatever your lowest setting for your oven is, put it there, and I would check it every half hour. Haven't done it in the oven in a while, but I'm remembering that it takes less time than in the dehydrator. So have fun with the flavors. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you switched up some of the mixtures and what flavors of kale chips you made. Have a wonderful day. Stay well, and thanks for tuning in.